This comes from Patreon. Anela K asks, can he share his experience about getting arrested and refusing to speak English?
All right. So I'm going to tell you guys my very first experience. And this will kind of like, you might think less of me after this, just honesty. So in 1996, I was driving my Volkswagen van with my 3 friends in the backseat of my van. Had my coconut hat on, had my Aloha shirt. I was at Nanakuli First Light, and I came to a stop, and right next to me was a police car. And I was feeling very me, and I looked over, I saw the cop, I smiled and nodded my head, and he gave me like a real pilau look. And probably that week at school, Ikela was talking about how, although Olelo Hawai'i is the official language, it can't be used anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like one of those guys, like I spent the first 18 years of my life doing everything my na'au said not to do. And I've spent the last 20-something years of my life doing everything my na'au said to do. So anyway, we drive off. I'm driving my van. As you leave Nanakuli, there's like a little hill that goes up. There's a little surf spot, Black Rocks, right below, before you get into electric plant. And while my hand was on my outside of my car, for some reason, something said, Daniel, if you do this, this might change your life. So I did it. And I did this on the outside of my car to the cop. Okay, I flicked this cop off because he gave me a dirty look, and I was smiling the whole time. He was looking at me. I was smiling. So sure enough, right by Ko'olina, he pulls behind me, pulls me over. Now I know I wasn't speeding. He comes to the car, big smile, aloha makai, pehea oi. The cop loses it. I have all my driver's license, registration, everything. He tells me, how the F did I get my driver's license if I can't speak English? Of which I respond to him, hiki a'u olelo haole, aka maupopo ia'u, hiki e olelo Hawai'i. Ends up, the cop pulls me out of my car, slams me against my Volkswagen. My friends are all tripping out. The cop tells me, well, he has all day. So we have a 20-minute standoff where I refuse to speak English. I'm on the side of the road. Finally, the cop goes, if you speak English, I'll let you go. So my friends go, brah,
Just speak English.
So I speak English, brah, this guy gives me a ticket.
Oh.
That was the very beginning. And what it made me realize, and still today, I don't have a driver's license because I can't get it. Mako'olelo Hawai'i. I've been escorted out of the DMV at least 4 times for refusing to speak English, holding up space in their line. I believe today there you can get the driving tests in Hawaiian, but you really can't get any services in Hawaiian.
Yeah.
And what
the ATM has the Olelo Hawai'i
ATM
now.
has the Olelo Hawai'i, right?
That's all.
A quick segue, I'll tell you. One day I got a check from somebody after a ku'i event. And I was in my malo, and I went to Bank of Hawaii. And I get there, it's a Friday. The bank line is to the door. I open the door, literally take 2 steps in. That's the end of the line. The person in the very front of the line looks at me. I'm just in my malo now, right? The whole line turns to look at me. At that moment, the teller at the very end goes, "Hui, brother, let me help you." I cut in front of everybody, cash my check, I'm out. So there wasn't an Olelo Hawai'i line, but there definitely was a malo line at Bank of Hawaii, and I fully appreciate it.
That's so funny. Shout out to Bank of Hawaii.
You guys, I believe that, and this is through all the years. Look, when I went, I've been fighting for Olelo Hawai'i rights in the court system since 1996. And this is what it's clear as it has come to me, I will share it. The state of Hawaii has been operating under the guise of Olelo Hawai'i proficiency since the Constitution changed in 1978. And the reason that there were no Olelo Hawai'i interpreters is because you only provide an interpreter for a foreign language. Because for the last 27 years, I have held a very strong stance regarding Olelo Hawaii in the court system, I actually qualify for a constitutional disability. Yeah. And although I can speak English, I actually failed English 100 twice. I can prove I'm undummy. And that my brain operates actually in 2 languages. And that in order for a judge to be able, to execute justice in Hawaii, how can they do so when they do not speak the judicial language?
The official language of Hawaii.
It's not just the official, the judicial language.
Oh, so what's the difference?
Right? You look at all of our laws, they're all HRS, Hawaii Revised Statute.
Mm-hmm.
Kamaka, what was it revised from?
I don't know.
Hawaiian Kingdom Statute, which was all in Olelo Hawaii. Which is why the Supreme Court of the state of Hawaii actually has a Hawaiian language library and a mana leo from Ni'ihau that is their librarian. That Olelo Hawaii is not just the official language. It is also the judicial language. And so, I've seen this. They're importing justice from every corner of the continental United States. When Mr. So-and-so looks at Auntie, he don't see her family genealogy, her struggles, her trials. He's not her peer. Look, the way that this legal system is supposed to work is we're supposed to be judged by our peers. Mm-hmm. What happens when you go to court and they're not your peers and they have a track record? Yeah, it forces you to assimilate if you want to survive in this. I've chosen the opposite. Yeah? Straight up. I've been to all the meetings with all the sheriffs, all the police, straight bench warrants. You know why they didn't arrest me? Because I'm a pain in the ass to deal with and that I stand on truth. Yeah, and when you deal with me, it forces you to deal with truth. And truth is worse than dog shit. Because once that stuff gets all over you, it makes you look shitty. Mm-hmm. In our court system, if we are going to have a future as Kanaka, we need judges that can olelo. We need court systems that can olelo. What we're going to see is we're going to see the justice and the solutions be entirely different.